Hello, everybody. Yes, I am feeling much better. Thank you, Elaine, and thank you for making it. Now, to start with, if you hear any kind of boink boink noises, it is because we have very high wind, and also maybe from time to time I'm going to take a few seconds to check because we started getting wildfires spawning all over the place. But yeah, it's quite noisy, and my doors are rattling and my windows are rattling, and I hear stuff going outside. Sometimes there are branches and other debris and twigs hitting the walls or the roof. So yeah, this is what's going on. Anyway, we are going to do a little bit of pearlescent / metallic stuff for St. Paddy's Day. Here I have gold and jungle green in equal amounts. Here I have white pearl and jungle green, 2 parts white pearl, 1 part jungle green, and here I have plain gold. And I am going to use, let me put on a glove so I don't mess up. Yeah, and tonight we are supposed to have like 24 degrees. And tomorrow's gonna be like in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and then tomorrow night is going to be 30, and then we're gonna go into the 90s. So yeah, weather. Okay, so now I'm using some green flash color shift, and I'm going to get it all over the gold, and then we're gonna put away the gold to allow for the color shift to dry. And you want to have a decent coverage of the color shift. It's basically the same principle as the so-called faux turquoise that doesn't really look like turquoise technique has. And why I say it doesn't really look like turquoise, it's because it leaves the lines too fine, and usually when you see something like that on the market, and I'm talking about the real gems, that means it's dyed howlite. The matrix of a turquoise usually has thicker lines. Sometimes the Chinese turquoise has thin lines, but it's very hard to find turquoise with very fine lines, black lines. Anyway, so after I bashed that technique, now let's get this out of the work area and put it aside to dry. And I guess until I don't get a little bit on my finger, I don't feel good. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to chop it. And you can make some translucent in it also. But what we are going to do is one of those rare chopped stuff canes. And you want it to be fairly well chopped up. And actually, see how my clay is a little bit too soft, and because of that it doesn't toss well because it tends to stick. So I'm going to put just a little bit of mica powder. I chose two. One is the let me put on my peepers. So for this I'm going to use the emerald, but again just a little bit, not a lot, because I still want it to stick together. I don't want it to come apart. Let's see, this should be enough. If not, I'll add a little bit more, but for now let's go with just this much. And you want it to be fairly well chopped. Yeah, it does need a little bit more, but it's going to be beautiful. Just cleaning my thing. And there we go. Yeah, right now we have pretty high wind. I think it's, let me see, it is 37 with 45 miles per hour gusts. So yeah, it is fairly strong. Okay, so now I can chop much better and much easier, and it tosses better. And if you remember, I did at one point, there is a, if you go on my channel and you do a search, it would be either under clover or under, you can just put Patrick there with a CK in the end, because I know that I did a cane with regular clay, not with translucent, but it's going to be kind of sort of like that one. Okay, it's almost there. Still need it a little bit finer. You just have to be careful when you do the chopped clay canes, and I'll show you. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you reduce. Okay, so this should be good. Toss well, and then I'm going to consolidate it. And see, because I didn't use a lot of the mica, now it is sticking to itself. It doesn't, that's the danger when you're using mica. If you want to do stuff with mica and your clay is not sticking to itself, then your thing is I'm gonna have to put a little bit of liquid clay in between. And for the lighter one, I chose the green yellow duo. Goodness, and I can hear the turbines up on the roof going like crazy. And my poor little Seamus, he's terrified. He's been hiding in my closet. And my poor whipping willow is shedding branches like nuts as well. But, you know, won't need pruning. That's what I say. But I tried to do some stuff. I did some stuff in the garden yesterday. I tried to do some today. It's impossible to work with anything because you cannot put anything down. It's going to be taken away by the wind. Forget about dry leaves gathering and that stuff, because you get them, you rake them, you put them in a pile, and by the time you put the pile in the trash, the pile isn't there anymore. Okay, so this is the most time consuming of all the chopping part. But again, you want the chopping to be fairly fine because the whole cane is going to be reduced and you don't want big chunks. And if you don't have all these colors of mica, you can just use plain gold on the darker one and silver on the lighter one. Okay, this should be good. Now let's just smush it together. I think I made a little bit too much of the lighter color. We'll see here in a minute. Okay, and you want to get it about the same, you know, when you're looking in the crosswise section. Give me just a second. I think I need a little bit of a better focus. Just a teensy winsy second. There we go. Now it's better. Alrighty, so I am going to I need to get it shorter. No, it might be the proper amount. And there we go. So I'm going to cut it in two, like 1/3 and 2/3. Actually, even in 4. Oh, this would be half, this would be a quarter. Right, and this will be one of them. This will be the other one, and then I'm going to need 2 slices of this. One on this one, and I'm going to go with the blunt side of the blade and do all these little indentations, and same for this one, going with the blunt side of the blade and making indentations. Alright, and now put them together. Get this in a triangle, and now we can start reducing. Now make sure that you do not do any kind of twisting like this, because it is going to make a boo-boo. It's going to mess up the inside. But the same as with any other triangular cane, we go mostly on pressing down on the corners. Because we want the 4-leaf clover, right? And we want to make it, so I'm going to use this for a pendant. So I need to fit 4 leaves of these inside, so obviously it needs to be smaller. And if you want to make earrings too, obviously you'll have to get it even smaller than that. This should be pretty much good. Oh, let me get the... and gently round up these. Oops, not these ones. I rounded up the wrong corners. Hi, Colleen. So this should be good. Okay, now getting back to our other thing that is pretty much dried out. This is going to get stacked. Oh, come on. And chopped. The same as the other ones. Only on this one, I'm going to go a little bit larger when it comes to the chunks. I've been outside trying to get things to where they wouldn't be tossed around, but sometimes there's a bout of wind that still picks stuff up and tosses it. I had twice to go down the walkway towards the driveway to pick up my lawn chairs from the front porch. But you know, that happens when it's windy. And I know that some areas of the country are looking at very severe storms, and of course I'm not happy about that, having just been through something like that Tuesday. Okay, now we're gonna cut, and I'm going to actually cut. It looks super pretty. It looks super pretty here. And let me see which of them I like the best. If I cut 2 and put them side by side, or if it is just 1 and I get with it through the pasta machine. We'll see. We'll see here in a minute. It doesn't really matter because you can always re-chop stuff. Here in a minute which of them I like the best. I'm going to still get this through the pasta machine on the thickest setting. might need a little bit more. This should be good. And then this one, I'm going to get it through the pasta machine on a thicker setting. Okay, which of them do I like the best? I think this one. Alrighty. So let's cut it. And remember, all this you can reuse because you can re-chop it. And let's get two nice, not two, four nice slices of this. Of course, the first one is going to be messed up. Just make sure that I have enough rounded up stuff here. And with each slice, flop it on the other side so you don't get any distortion from slicing. And I'm going to resin it so you can see how it would look. Of course, you can just sand and, okay, this one is a little bit too thick. Sand and buff it. But I'm going to use the resin so you can see right away how it will look like. Alrighty. And you can or not do a bezel. The last one make the distance a little bit bigger, and then you can just cut a little piece from the wastage. And place it here. And then, of course, we need the wax paper. Not this wax paper. And I've been trying to stay awake because I woke up a little bit like 5:30 and I couldn't go back to sleep. And by the time I was ready to go back to sleep, it was already close to 8. And they're like, if I go to sleep now, I might not wake up for the live. So you guessed it, I'm burnishing. And of course, I'm going to have to use the cutter again once I'm done burnishing. And as base, you can use any color. And by my understanding, except for orange. do not wear, I understood that you do not wear orange in Ireland. Alright, so this should be good. And I can cut it again. And by the way, if you make the background just with, you kind of mix like 1 part white pearl and 4 parts translucent, and then use, like I use the mica powder here, use some gold mica powder. It's going to look very gem-like when you're done. So let me resin it, and then after it's cured we'll see how pretty it looks. Make sure that you go all the way to the edge. And you'll have to go twice around for all the way to the edge, because as you know, the UV resin has the tendency to trap hairs. And it's going to pull away from the edges because of the self-doming thing. My Finnegan is changing his winter coat, so there's like very fine hairs all over the place, and you cannot really see them until they are pretty much on stuff. Because he doesn't really have he doesn't really have much of a top coat, mostly some on his neck and some on his tail, but he's like, all his fur is undercoat. Okay, I know that Niharika is somebody I know under a different name, but right now I'm having a brain fart. But hello. Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember too. That's the thing when you don't use the same name. Goodness gracious. Okay, this should be done soon. But yeah, these are all, and you can do all kinds of color combinations, and with mica powders, and with all kinds of stuff, and they will be beautiful. Oh my goodness. And it's hard for me to go through my list of friends on Facebook because I have just so many. Oy. Okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity of waiting for the resin to get cured to look at the wildfire stuff. Yeah, nothing close to me, it seems. Let me show you. There you go. There's a lot. And look here in Missouri, and in this area of... You don't seem to have as much there, Elaine. But it's what worries me is that they started here too, because as long as they stay east of me, I mean, yeah, of course I'm going to be upset for the people. it affects, but the wind always blows from the west. So alrighty, now we can, let me refocus. And now I cannot even, I was thinking I can't even, most likely can't even sleep this afternoon because it's going to be too noisy. Alrighty, there we go. Now let's go closer. There we go. You can see the, but it still doesn't show all the prettiness. I'm sorry, sometimes the camera doesn't do these things justice. Let me do the, leave just one on. There we go, because it shows, with the naked eye you can see all the little things. Hi Darla. Yeah, I guess you're not like me. Yesterday I completely messed up the time because I forgot to reset my clock outside, and I was working in the garden, and I thought it was, I still had plenty of time, but I didn't. It's with the time change. Okay. So this would be it, and as you can see, it's a pretty thing, and it's fairly easy to make, and you have plenty of time still to make something for Tuesday, for St. Paddy's Day. And don't forget, again, if we go, let me actually do that for you. If we go on my channel, right, and we search, and we're gonna put in clover, and there we go, the shamrock cane. I thought I told you I knew that I had one. It's hearts. And let's do a search for Patrick. That's another clover cane. And earring ideas. The rest are not. And that's the one that I did before. But and if you're already getting ready for Easter, again you search Easter, Easter eggs, let me see, Easter eggs motifs. And this was how to cover an egg with faux malachite. I still have that egg around the house somewhere. This is how to make a crucifix. This is vinegar. But anyway, you have a lot of stuff that you can find on my channel. And I counted, there's like 1,400 videos total, counting the public ones and the sponsor ones. So there's a lot of stuff you can watch if you are newer on the channel. People who have been with me from the start pretty much watched everything. But anyway, have a great St. Patrick's Day. And thank you so much for being here with me. For the ones who sent me happy birthdays, thank you for the happy birthdays. And Kanchana. Kanchana. There we go. That's Kanchana. Thank you, Elaine. Kanchana, not Kanchana. But you made me remember it. Okay, so I'll see you next Sunday. If nothing else happens. And have a wonderful week. I love you all. Goodbye. Will you?